Welcome everybody to Exploring with Cindy and Dan. Today we are at the Hoover Dam in Nevada and we will be doing a complete tour of the Hoover Dam. Join us in this adventure. On our way from Las Vegas to the Hoover Dam, we stopped at the scenic viewpoint of Lake Mead. It is a large reservoir on the main stem of the Colorado River. Hoover Dam, which forms Lake Mead, is located in Black Canyon, approximately 30 miles east of Las Vegas, in the Mojave Desert in Nevada. At full pull, Lake Mead is the largest reservoir in the United States by volume, and is the second in surface area. The Hoover Dam is a concrete arch gravity dam in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River, and it is located between the states of Nevada and Arizona. Here we are finally arriving at the Hoover Dam. We arrived early on Monday, March 13, 2023 to avoid the crowd, but it was still very crowded. It took some time to get from the security checkpoint to the main lobby area of the Hoover Dam Visitor Center. But once we arrived at the Hoover Dam, the views were incredible. I really recommend you to visit the Hoover Dam if you are in Nevada. After you park inside the first parking garage structure on the left-hand side of the road, you can easily walk to the visitor center. There are multiple elevators at the Hoover Dam. There is one in the parking lot structure, and just few feet from the top of the escalators of the visitor center, you will find another elevator. Before getting inside the visitor center, You will have to go through a security checkpoint. It's very fast, easy, and very efficient. Firearms, weapons, drones, and knives of any size are prohibited at the Hoover Dam, and no food or drinks are permitted in the building, with the exception of water bottles. You can find water vending machines at the visitor center, and they also have a very cute refillable water bottle for $5 with a picture of the Hoover Dam.
Already seeking ways to tame the Colorado through the engineering skills of the Bureau of Reclamation. But with 7 states disputing how much of the river's water each could claim, construction of a dam, any dam, was only a dream. But in 1921, Secretary of Commerce Herbert Hoover joined representatives from the 7 states to seek out a solution to equal water rights. Hoover proposed to simply divide the area into a lower and upper basin and leave further negotiations to the states within those basins. This compromise paved the way for the Boulder Canyon project to be constructed. And in 1931, the structure that would one day bear Hoover's name began with an explosion. Not only of black powder and dynamite, but one of human tenacity and ingenuity. It was the largest single contract awarded to that time by the federal government. It took the combined resources of 6 companies, forged into a single contracting entity, to undertake the mammoth project. But before the first shovel of earth could be removed, the Colorado River had to be diverted from its timeless path. The key was to cut 2 tunnels through the canyon walls on each side of the river, each 56 feet in diameter and approximately 4,000 feet long. The 4 tunnels took 2 years to complete. With the tunnels open and cofferdams in place, the Colorado River had no choice but to leave its riverbed and flow through the man-made corridors. With the river diverted, steam shovels dug through as much as 135 feet of silt, mud, and gravel to reach bedrock. And there, Hoover Dam began as a simple square wooden form filled with concrete, followed by more than 3 million cubic yards of concrete over the next 2 years. Add the adjoining structures, and enough concrete was placed to build a 4-foot wide sidewalk around the Earth's equator. Heat from the setting concrete was predicted to take more than 100 years to cool, but engineers fashioned 1-inch steel pipe inside each concrete block before it was poured. A refrigeration plant so massive it could produce a 1,000-ton iceberg every day continuously pumped cold water through the pipes, cooling the concrete so construction was never interrupted. This innovative idea helped the entire structure be completed in just 5 years, 2 years ahead of schedule. Hoover Dam was built with 5 million barrels of cement, 18 million pounds of structural steel, 21 million pounds of gates and valves, and 840 miles of pipe. The scale of some of the equipment was beyond the capacity of American highways and railroads. The pipes that would carry water from the reservoir to the generators were so large they could not be shipped, so a manufacturing plant was created to build them at the site. An infrastructure of highways, railroad tracks, and power lines had to be created to move men and materials from outlying areas to the dam site and to supply electricity for construction. An entire town was needed to house the workers who were pouring in from all over America in the midst of the Great Depression. The project averaged 3,500 workers a day, working 3 shifts, 7 days a week with only 2 days off a year. The pay scale started at $4 a day, a good wage in the midst of the Great Depression sweeping America. Amid the country's economic uncertainty, the workers in this canyon gave new life to the nation's spirit as they gave new life to the desert Southwest.
This is an engineering victory of the first order. Another great achievement of American resourcefulness, American skill, and American determination. And that is why I have the right once more to congratulate you who have builded Boulder Dam, and on behalf of the nation, to say to you, well done.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt dedicated Boulder Dam on September 30, 1935. In 1947, Congress officially named it Hoover Dam. Some call it the most prodigious engineering construction feat since the Great Pyramids of Egypt. When a U.S. Senate committee endorsed construction of Hoover Dam in 1928, its report said, "A mighty river, now a source of destruction, is to be curbed and put to work in the interests of society." And so it was. Hoover Dam brought the desert flood control, a reliable supply of water, electrical power, and more. Behind a 726-foot-tall concrete face lies Lake Mead, America's largest man-made lake. Born out of the collected waters of the Colorado River, it could cover the entire state of Pennsylvania to the depth of 1 foot. But held behind Hoover Dam, it is a life-giving source for communities throughout the Southwest. On its way to meet downstream needs, thousands of gallons of water per second flow from Lake Mead through the dam's 17 giant turbines, producing clean, non-polluting hydroelectric power. Hoover Dam produces almost 4.5 billion kilowatt hours of electricity each year, enough to serve the needs of over 1 million people. The sale of this power has repaid the entire cost of constructing Hoover Dam and continues to fund the yearly operating and maintenance costs as well. Hoover Dam helped ensure a future for the communities that settled along the river and the low, flat valleys of Southern California and Southwest Arizona. In Las Vegas, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and other smaller cities, Colorado River water delivered from Lake Mead helps meet the needs of millions of people a year. Hoover Dam and other dams along the Colorado River contain the floodwaters spawned each spring by melting snows. And from their reservoirs flows an assured and reliable water supply for water users throughout the basin. Combined with the warm climate and rich soils of the lower Colorado River basin, water from Lake Mead has created some of the most productive farmland in the country. Farms in Arizona, Southern California, and Mexico, irrigated by these controlled flows, produce over $1 billion worth of vegetables and fruits throughout the year for dinner tables across the nation. The clear reservoirs and controlled river stretches resulting from construction of Hoover and other dams have created year-round recreational opportunities at the National Park Service's Lake Mead Recreation Area and other locations along the Colorado River. Hoover Dam first helped create and now helps sustain the high quality of life enjoyed by millions of people in the desert Southwest. At Hoover Dam and its other projects throughout the West, the Bureau of Reclamation is focused on efficient, effective, environmentally sensitive water resources management to help ensure our limited water supplies can meet the needs of all who depend on them. Wherever the system delivers water, life flourishes. Herbert Hoover, engineer, humanitarian, politician, fisherman, and conservationist. believed, as did many others, in a vision where man could affect nature for the good. With every touch of its coarse concrete skin, and each sparkle that dances behind its crown, Hoover Dam reminds us of the need to dream noble purposes and the strength of the human spirit to achieve great aspirations.
Service animals are welcome and wheelchairs are available for rent at the parking garage for just $5. The Hoover Dam Visitor Center areas have also paid and RV parking, multiple restrooms, drinking fountains, and at the bottom of the parking structure you can find a really nice restaurant. The park has many interpretive panels that you can read throughout your walk in the Hoover Dam. You can spend hours at the Hoover Dam, so plan your day in advance. This is the entrance of the Hoover Dam Exhibition Gallery. The best time to come to the Hoover Dam is very early in the mornings or later in the afternoon, like around 2:30. The Hoover Dam hours of operation are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, but the door closes at 4:15. They are closed for Thanksgiving and Christmas. They have 3 different types of tickets for your visit. You can choose the $10 Visitor Center ticket that includes admission to the Visitor Center exhibits, an observation deck, and the 1940s era original exhibit building topographical map presentation, or you can choose the $15 Powerplant tour ticket that includes everything on the $10 ticket plus a 10-minute movie on the history of the Hoover Dam and a 30-minute guided tour to the viewing platform overlooking a 30-foot diameter penstock pipe and the Nevada wing of the power plant. There is also a Hoover Dam tour ticket, but you must be 8 years of age or older, and this tour is not handicap accessible. This tour includes everything on the $15 ticket, but instead of a 30-minute tour, this tour is 1-hour tour because they also stop in an original inspection tunnel inside the dam. Online tour ticket sales are temporarily suspended on their website, so on-site tickets are first come, first served. The Hoover Dam is a testimony of the thousands of workers who built this project in times of adversity during the Great Depression. Thousands of men and their families came to Black Canyon to work at the Hoover Dam. The Hoover Dam still stands as a world-renowned structure. This dam is also a National Historic Landmark and has been rated by the American Society of Civil Engineers as one of America's 7 modern civil engineering wonders. The Hoover Dam was built between the years of 1931 and 1936 during the Great Depression and was dedicated on September 30 of 1935 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The dam was referred to as the Hoover Dam after President Herbert Hoover passed a bill in Congress during its construction. It was named first the Boulder Dam by Roosevelt administration, and the Hoover Dam name was restored by Congress in 1947. The construction cost of the Hoover Dam was approximately $49 million in 1931. The Hoover Dam is a concrete gravity arch dam, and it is 726 feet of height, 1,244 feet in length. The base width is 660 feet, and the volume of the concrete is 3.25 million cubic yards. The Hoover Dam has 17 commercial generating units in the power plant, as we will see some of them in the power plant tour. Today, the Hoover Dam controls the flooding of the Colorado River, irrigates to over 1,500,000 acres of land, and provides water to over 16 million people. The power generated by the Hoover Dam provides energy to 1.3 million people. The 3 states that receive power from the Hoover Dam are Nevada, Arizona, and California. From 1939 to 1949, The Hoover Power Plant was the world's largest hydroelectric installation, and today it is still one of the country's largest.
The Colorado River begins its journey around the Rocky Mountains. It flows miles all the way to Mexico. It flows through some of the driest regions of the country and often the hottest. The Colorado River is their lifeline. For centuries, people have used its water for drinking, fishing, and watering their crops. The Colorado River had unpredictable periods of both flooding and drought. This made living near the water difficult and often dangerous for the people who depended on it. In 1902, the federal government created what became the Bureau of Reclamation. It would manage the water flow and help small family farms and Native American communities. Reclamation's largest project was a huge dam on the lower Colorado River. It would control flooding and bring reliable water and hydroelectric power to farms and growing cities. This would become Hoover Dam. Hoover Dam and its reservoir, Lake Mead, are located southeast of Las Vegas, Nevada. The dam was designed in the late 1920s by Bureau of Reclamation engineers. They selected the desolate site of Black Canyon between Arizona and Nevada on the lower Colorado River. In 1931, a group of major Western contracting firms joined together for this major construction effort. They were known as Six Companies Incorporated, or the Big Six. Around 20,000 people flocked to the site seeking work during the Great Depression. Only about 5,000 workers were hired to build the dam, and Boulder City was built to house them. Six companies also constructed a highway, railroad, and power transmission lines. They built special machinery in the plant to produce the huge amounts of concrete needed for the job. Six companies had to make a dry place in the middle of the Colorado River for construction. Workers drilled and blasted 4 massive tunnels through the solid rock walls of Black Canyon and then forced the river to flow through them. Behind the dam, a solid, stable rock, the soft river bottom was excavated. Ice skaters did the dangerous work of removing the strong walls. Hoover Dam is a concrete gravity arch dam. The strength of the concrete holds back the Colorado River, while the arch transfers the weight of the water into the canyon walls. Fresh concrete takes time to cool and harden, so Reclamation's engineers came up with a novel solution. The dam was built in blocks-containing pipes, and ice-cold water was pumped through for rapid cooling. The diversion tunnels were closed off in 1935. Lake Mead began to flow, eventually extending 110 miles up the Colorado River. The 2-hour tunnels in the canyon walls became massive spillways. They can move excess water around the dam to prevent the flooding. Water flows from the intake towers to the north pipe to the hydroelectric generators. The motor turns the generators turbines.
towers that support and direct the wires are leaning into the canyon. These are cantilever towers, designed to ensure that the wires do not touch the walls of the canyon and short out.
I've never really done
Now look downriver, midway on the canyon wall, and you will see a rectangle.
As a timeline for the Hoover Dam, in 1968, Major John Wesley Powell makes the first recorded trip through the Grand Canyon. In 1902, President Roosevelt signs the Reclamation Act. The reclamation engineers begin a long series of investigations on control and use of the Colorado River. Between 1905 and 1907, the Colorado River breaks into the Imperial Valley and creates the Salton Sea. In 1916, unprecedented floods of Gila River into the Colorado River floods the Yuma Valley. In 1928, the Boulder Canyon Project Act, introduced by California Senator Hiram Johnson and Representative Philip Swim, passes the United States Senate in December 14th, the House in December 18th, and is signed by President Coolidge in December 21st. The act was declared effective in June of 1929. In 1930, contracts for the sale of electrical energy to cover the dam and power plant financing are completed. In 1931, the Bureau of Reclamation opens bids for the construction of the Hoover Dam and power plant. In 1932, the Colorado River is diverted around the dam site in November 14th. In 1933, the first concrete is placed, and in 1935, the dam starts impounding water in Lake Mead, and the last concrete is placed in the dam in May. President Roosevelt dedicates the dam in September of that year. In 1936, the first commercial generator goes into fully operational. In 1939, storage in Lake Mead extends 110 miles. Water storage reached 8 trillion gallons, and at this time, the Hoover Dam is the largest hydroelectric facility in the world.
Which helps put the great rivers of the West to work. Before you is a topographical model showing portions of 7 western states that share the waters of the Colorado River and its tributaries. In the foreground is the Colorado River. Rising in the snow-capped Rocky Mountains, the river flows 1,400 miles through mountains and desert toward the Gulf of California. In the background lie the Great Mojave Desert and Death Valley. And in the distance are the metropolitan centers of Southern California as well as the Pacific Ocean. A single sweep of the eye takes in the upper and lower Colorado River basins, which include portions of Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, and California. 1/12 of the continental United States is drained by this great river system. The Colorado, for centuries, was one of the world's wildest rivers. Melting snow in the mountains each spring swelled the river's flow, transforming it into a raging torrent. Time and again, the low, flat valleys in Arizona and Southern California were flooded. Then, as the river receded, millions of tons of topsoil were deposited on the land, creating fertile deltas as rich as anywhere on Earth. Early settlers, recognizing the fertility of the soil, irrigated the valleys directly from the river. They tried to protect their lands from floods by constructing levees, but levees were feeble safeguards, and during major floods, the valleys were at the mercy of the uncontrolled river. The worst flood disaster occurred in 1905, when the river broke through the headworks of the Alamo Canal and poured into the Imperial Valley in Southern California to form the Salton Sea. 16 months of tedious labor were required to restore the river to its former channel. But the threat of flood was not the only problem posed by the unruly river. After the springtime floods and runoff, the river's flow generally dwindled, and at times its lower tributaries dried up completely. Then crops withered and died, and all living things were faced with water shortage. After years of unsuccessfully trying to cope with the unpredictable river, it became apparent that the only solution to the problem was to construct a dam to eliminate the cycles of flood and drought in the lower basin. The two main objectives were, first, to control floods to protect areas along the river, and second, to store water to irrigate the fertile desert soils during periods of drought. To meet these objectives, reclamation engineers proposed the Boulder Canyon project, which included Hoover Dam and a large conveyance canal entirely within the boundaries of the United States. That is, an all-American canal to deliver irrigation water to the Imperial Valley. By controlling floods and storing water, the dam would regulate the river's flow year-round, furnishing silt-free water to farms, homes, and factories. A hydroelectric plant at the dam to generate power for the Southwest was included in the plan. With the scope of the problem defined, reclamation engineers spent years studying and planning the project. Congress in 1928 approved the Boulder Canyon Project Act, which included Hoover Dam, the infrastructure needed to build the dam, and the All-American Canal. Construction of Hoover Dam began in 1931. The structure was dedicated in 1935. Revenues from the sale of power have paid back to the federal treasury with interest the entire cost of the project. The reservoir created by Hoover Dam is named Lake Mead. Measured by volume, it is the largest man-made reservoir in the United States and can hold and store 2 years' normal flow of the Colorado River. Managed by the National Park Service, Lake Mead National Recreation Area has become one of the nation's most popular playgrounds. More than 9 million persons visit the area each year to swim, fish, go boating, camp, and enjoy other outdoor sports. Regulation of Lake Mead is based on anticipated runoff from the mountain regions and on water requirements downstream. Normally, only enough water to meet downstream demands is released through the Powerplant turbines. The Boulder Canyon project has led to the full utilization of water available to the lower Colorado River basin. Many features of the Bureau of Reclamation's Colorado River Storage Project are operated to assist upper basin states in using their shares of Colorado River water. The huge upper basin dams hold back high runoff to even out the river flows and thereby permit increased beneficial use of water in the upper basin states. These dams include Glen Canyon Dam in Arizona on the Colorado River, 370 miles above Hoover Dam. Flaming Gorge Dam on the Green River in Utah, near the Wyoming border. Navajo Dam on the San Juan River in New Mexico. And Blue Mesa, Morrow Point, and Crystal Dams on the Gunnison River in Colorado. Authorized participating projects provide water for nearly 3 million acres of land in Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. They also add almost 1.4 million kilowatts to the upper basin's 1.8 million kilowatts of hydroelectric power capacity. Hoover Dam's control of the Colorado River also made the construction of other dams downstream possible. 67 miles below Hoover Dam is Davis Dam, an earth and rock-filled structure. Construction of this reclamation project was required by a treaty with Mexico to regulate the delivery of water to that country. The Davis Power Plant generates 1.2 billion kilowatt hours of energy annually for Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California. Lake Mojave above Davis Dam is part of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. Like Lake Mead, it offers opportunities for boating, fishing, and other water sports. Parker Dam, 88 miles below Davis Dam, was constructed by the Bureau of Reclamation with funds advanced by the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. Lake Havasu, behind Parker Dam, provides a forebay and desilting basin for the district's Colorado River Aqueduct, which delivers Colorado River water to the Los Angeles and San Diego metropolitan areas. Parker Dam also generates nearly 500 million kilowatt hours of electricity annually, much of which is used for pumping water along the aqueduct through the mountains to the coast. Water for the Central Arizona project is also pumped out of Lake Havasu. This water flows southeastward via aqueduct to cities, farms, and industries in the Phoenix and Tucson areas. 15 miles below Parker Dam is Headgate Rock Dam. Built by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Headgate Rock Dam diverts water to lands of the Colorado River Indian Reservation near the town of Parker, Arizona. Palo Verde Diversion Dam, 43 miles below Headgate Rock Dam, diverts water to lands of the Palo Verde Valley the oldest irrigation development on the Colorado River. The valley was settled in the late 1800s by Thomas H. Blythe, for whom the city of Blythe, California, was named. 88 miles below the Palo Verde Diversion Dam is Senator Wash Dam and Regulating Reservoir, an off-stream pump storage development on the California side of the Colorado River. It is designed to save water and improve deliveries to water users in the United States and Mexico. 2 miles downstream from Senator Wash Dam are Imperial Dam and the All-American Canal desilting works. These installations accomplished the diversion of the Colorado River that the early settlers had struggled so valiantly but unsuccessfully to do. On the east side of Imperial Dam, water is diverted through the Gila Canal to the Gila Project in Arizona. On the west side, water is diverted through the All-American Canal to the Imperial and Coachella Valleys in California. Part of the All-American Canal diversion is for the Yuma Project in Arizona and California. The desilting works remove river silt that would otherwise fill up and clog the canals and irrigation ditches. 8 hydroelectric plants along the All-American Canal generate electric energy for use in the irrigated areas. In this simulated night scene, you see some of the areas supplied with power from Hoover Dam. More than 1/2 of the electric energy generated at the Hoover Power Plant is marketed in Los Angeles and Southern California coastal areas. And so today, Hoover Dam stands like a mighty sentinel in Black Canyon, keeping guard over downstream regions. Lying calmly above the dam are the waters of Lake Mead, waters that once carried the threat of devastation, but which are now harnessed to serve mankind. Crossing mountains and deserts are columns of transmission line towers carrying 4 billion kilowatt hours of electric energy annually throughout the Southwest. Downstream, far from the dam, the river flows gently, offering its waters to 1.8 million acres of land and more than 25 million persons for domestic and industrial uses. Sparkling reservoirs and controlled river flows provide hundreds of acres of fish and wildlife habitat and recreational venues. These enduring benefits are the true significance of the Boulder Canyon project, which has transformed the Colorado River into a mighty resource, thereby enhancing the lives of all inhabitants of the great Southwest.
By 1941, Lake Mead elevation reaches 1,220 feet above sea level. In 1947, the Congress passes legislation officially designating the Boulder Canyon project key structure Hoover Dam in honor of President Herbert Hoover. In 1961, the power installation of the Hoover Dam is complete. In 1983, for only its second time, overflow flood water streams down the 2 spillways and into the river below the dam. Our tour guide told us that 1983 was the last year where the Hoover Dam water was as high as these 2 pillars that you can see here. You can see here the different colors in the rocks where the water was. In 1985, Hoover Dam celebrates 50th anniversary. And in 1995, the Hoover Dam Visitor Center and Parking Garage opened. By the year of 2010, the Hoover Dam celebrates 75th anniversary, and in October, the new Memorial Bridge opened.
feet throughout the complex there. And this was put in at a cost of only about $60,000, bargain price in 1937 by the Martina family there. So arts, deco, engineering, a little bit of everything to toss at y'all here. So look at that as we're walking along. You also see some inlay designs there that will kind of replicate turbines, spinning water, as well as electrical outlets on this and the power plant floor by Alan Tupper True. This is filled in with concrete for seepage. We had seepage galleries throughout the complex. We had to get rid of hundreds of thousands of gallons of rainwater trapped between the walls and concrete block there. So this may be the desert, but we still got a water issue sometimes to get rid of.
All right, folks, so welcome to the Nevada side of the power plant. As you look across, each of these standing at 70 feet high, 30 feet visible to us, 40 feet more beneath that floor. Each of these that are lit up means they're on and running. 2 in the back there right now, 5 and 6 likely, and these are spinning away at 180 revolutions per minute, producing 130 gigawatts of power. That's enough for 65,000 homes for our minimum. If we chose to turn all 17 on at once, we could do hypothetically 2,080 megawatts of power over 8 million homes. Now, how this whole system works is very quickly. If you saw the towers behind Lake Mead, 4 of those, we call these intake towers. These are sitting on canyon ledges carved out by dynamite when they built the dam. So that water from Lake Mead is falling in slots like a waterfall down to 30-foot diameter instalk plants. 4 of these hooked up to the bottom. We're going to come in an angle on the Arizona Nevada side here, going directly to our generators. Now, from this point on, we're going to branch off to smaller 13-foot diameter instalk plants. Each of these going to the generator each here. That water is going to go all the way down to the bottom, going against a turbine water wheel at 45 miles per hour, spinning that. As it spins it, it will turn a 65 kilowatt half that around. As you can see clearly from the front through the window there in the center. When that's spinning around, it will turn the rotor housing that red drum of the generator there with the magnets. As those magnets are spinning around, this will turn the spinning cast 5 miles a second on the wire lying in the interior of that drum. And the spinning creates a magnetic field of electricity to the power plant. The water exits out the end of the day back to the Colorado River once it finishes going to the turbine wheel down there. Now, that explains the big ones. We do have smaller ones, though, for in-house power delivery. These we call parts water wheel generators. As you look at the floor, you'll notice one wrapped around by the metal beds and horizontal at the center. These produce 2.4 megawatts of power on either wing, supplying power to run everything you see here in the power plant, cranes, my mining elevators, and much more than that, so a handy piece of technology. And speaking of handy technology, we have a mobile bridge crane that's pushed by the American flag. We have 2 of these big ones on either wing, move along the famous track rail system. Just one of these lifts up to 300 tons. But wait, there's more. This one by itself can lift the Statue of Liberty's 225 ton weight by Anthony here. We do have a sister crane further down the way which is getting work. And we can leave this on generator to combine both of them, forming a super crane team. Lift the car out of the generator and bring it this way for repairs. And that's what we did with that piece in the floor. That's the rotor that's assembled from generator 3. That's why it's missing the line up there. Once it's reassembled with the panels and magnets, that will weigh up to 600 tons. 400 feet beneath us is the dam's base down there. I think it's down to 660 feet thick. To give you a visual of that, look behind where the wall is. Now look to the end of the grade. This area is 650 feet, and 10 feet north of that fills the concrete blocks here, 60 by 60, 50 by 55 feet high. This is the dam space going back to Lake Mead that way. At this level, we're 450 feet thick of Hoover Dam, so you get to Lake Mead in the back, swimming up like a fish, 350 feet to break the surface of Lake Mead. So incredible dimensions all around. Family folks have been having a Hoover tour at this point in this section here. It's all been a great work to do all that. I'll have you come in where we just came through here. Lead us back to Tower 705 off to the dam there, and all the displays there.
This is the end of our Hoover Dam tour. Thank you for watching our video, and please consider subscribing to our channel with the notification bell on. Thank you very much.